Now, amazingly, the Commodore's only been a member 8 years. So for you new members, take this as a word that there is an accelerated program if you want to go all the way up. He had previously served in the Air Force with distinction and currently has his own private law firm. Now, since our Commodore is an attorney, wait a minute, and does charge by the hour, I give you Commodore Verdi.
Oh, good afternoon, everyone. I love it out here. I really do. I'm glad I made it through the brunch without strawberries on my shirt. I tried real hard not to make that mess, but I do want to say, JV, that the buffet was great. And tell your servers and the chef back there, I always like this buffet out here. It was really great. And Doug, the invocation was top-notch. I mean, really, really good. If you listen to those things, some people wander off and you're looking outside, but if you listen to those words, they're words of wisdom, so I really appreciate that. I will say that this is the last one, not the least one, but this is the last for us. And I always have enjoyed the past 9 changes of watch following Commander Jansen, as you can well imagine. Right? She's hard charging, she's out there, and I'm not such a great sensation up here, so I can't really afford to follow a stiff. And so we had 2 great speakers. You're all pumped up, and I'm going to try to keep that level up. If it starts to wane off a little bit, then, that's to be expected because I'm not going to do a performance like that. But I've been tracking this story. It hasn't always been this way. It started off a little bit like about this size, and it's each change of watch, it grows a little more and a little more. But I will say, you wrapped in most all of them today. You got them all in there. You got the big friggin' pill in, okay? That wasn't there in the beginning. And the saber-toothed tiger, that started in Division 5. That didn't start in Division 9. So she's been growing with this thing, and it's been a lot of fun watching her get through this. Oh, Grease Lightning today was a new one. Moved like Grease Lightning. So it's been a great time following her. I'd like to, though, thank some people. First, I'd like to thank 2 fellows that are here today that were inspirational for me. One is Bill Scholes, and the other is Commodore Miller. Now, you say why? From Division 11, I'm from Marina del Rey. I don't know how I got in touch with these guys, except one, when I came in the auxiliary, the first thing I did was AUXCOM, because I'm a radio guy, I'm a ham. And so I did radio, and I learned about Bill. He was doing the net at the time. He was net control with that voice every week, right? So I'm listening to Bill Schultz, right? You know what I'm talking about. And when I became flotilla commander, maybe around 2005, the first person I called to come and do a member training was Bill Schultz. He didn't know me from a doorknob. He came out, he drove all the way to Marina del Rey and spent an hour with the flotilla talking about communications. The other fellow, I don't know how I first ran into Dick, but I heard, I think it was at the first D train that we had way back then in 2005. He gave a presentation in diversity. He was a national diversity guy for, what, 9 years? Yeah. A long, long time. And I was interested in the diversity aspect of things. And Dick came out from Orange County, and like Bill, spent an hour or 2 with our flotilla. I still have the video of that, by the way, your fair presentation. Yeah, you had all this hair going, But anyway, thanks to both of you. I'd also like to thank Pat Swope. I mean, over the years, I don't get down there that much, but when I get down into DIROPS, I always ask Pat a question. How do I find this? How do I find that? And she always helps me. Also, she's been a QE for me a couple times. She just recalled me as a coxswain. I still owe you. How much?
Yes.
Oh.
You can't afford it.
Anyway, she's been a great help and an inspiration. Also, I'd like to thank Bert. You all know Bert Blanchett here, Chief of Staff. He's great. He's been a big, big help as we get started here, and I'm going to try to dish as much as I can off to Bert so he can learn this job too as we go along. Now, another thank you I want to make, I want to read to you. At D-Train, we did not have Admiral Schultz there or Captain Jenkins because of the funeral of Senior Chief Horn. And so we had Captain Prince. There's the Admiral that wasn't there. And this is the last change of watch. I decided to have their pictures. Finally dawned on me, why not have the leadership of D11, at least a picture. And if you're watchstanders out there, Bill, you want to know what these folks look like. like if they ever walk on your station, you want to know who's coming on. So on the left, obviously, our district commander, Admiral Schultz, and Captain John Prince stood in for him at D-Train. He came to the D-Train and performed all the duties for the Coast Guard, and he did a great job. And afterwards, he sent me a letter. I want to read it to you. Captain Williams, I feel like you do. I feel like I'm right. But let me read the letter from Captain Prince. Dear Commodore Verdi, thank you for the pleasure and privilege of attending the D11 Auxiliary South D-Train event this past weekend. It was energizing to see the passion and compassion of the volunteers who serve in our Coast Guard Auxiliary and to recognize their many accomplishments. He goes on to say, as I tried to make clear in my remarks, as a fellow Coast Guardsman and as a citizen, all I can say is wow and thank you to you and your team for their service and contribution to our nation and its citizens. And I thought that was a really nice letter, and I wrote him a note back. But I was thinking about it, that why are all these thanks for the auxiliary? We get it, we've heard it all today. Many, many thanks to us. I was thinking that maybe the thanks are on the wrong foot. We have active duty here that at some point in their lives they came to a crossroads and they decided to stay in the military, stay in the Coast Guard, and defend us, defend our shores, our coasts, waterways, and they've made the voluntary choice to do that. And in return for that commitment, what they get is they get to move every 3 years. Their kids get to go to 4 schools between K and 12, and that's what they get in return for that. They didn't have to do that. They could have done other things. We could have had, here in LA, we could have had a morning show called Good Morning LA with Desiree. We could have had that. She made a choice to stay in. Her husband, Jeff Jansen, is a good-looking guy. He's a rescue swimmer. He didn't have to be a rescue swimmer. He could have gone into Hollywood and been the actor that played the rescue swimmer in The Guardian. Captain Williams could have been the head of the USC Marine Biology Department and all of that. The commander here could have been in Hawaii right now surfing and a huge surf contest. And Lieutenant, he had a choice. He could have either been a quarterback for the Eagles or the Steelers. One or the other, because he's from Pennsylvania, right in the middle. But they didn't do that. They chose to do that. So I think we owe them and their families a big round of applause for their standing. You know, Bert's told me my job is to speak here today, and that means to me it's your job to listen. So what I want to make sure is that we both finish at the same time. So if you find yourself finishing before me, just kind of flag me down, okay? But let's go into it a little bit. We had a theme at D-Train which was strength through diversity. And I'd repeat what the commander said, we have zero tolerance for any discrimination of any way, shape, or form. We have to get it out of our system. It doesn't happen that much, but we know it's there. And when you see it, report it, and we'll take care of it. Everybody should get an equal shot, an equal chance, irrespective of nationality, whether you have an accent, whether you're short, tall, or big, and whatever. So give everybody the fair shot, okay? Let's do that. But another part of diversity is important for me, and that's the young people. We had 2 new members, and I see a lot of young people here. One thing that we've started the past few years is a university program, university detachment out of Division 12. That's now evolved nationally into what's called a university program. It doesn't have to be attached to a flotilla. That's how it started. Now, we can go out to any university and recruit students. They get, in the university program, the college students get certain different treatment. We train them a little differently. We accommodate their hours, so we get them in. So out here, you have plenty of universities. If you can get a PA event out there, get a booth going, bring a PWC, bring a Coastie out there, they will come. You'll get 1 out of 20. We'll sign your log and come to a meeting. So let's get the young people in. We have challenges with funding, as the captain said. You know, it's been a kind of a mixed blessing, this lack of funding. I was really happy to hear about the electronic meeting you put together. Bert, you're going to have to talk to him about how he did it, okay? Because that's the direction we're going in. This funding crisis has really caused a paradigm shift for us. We can do things a lot differently now, and it's going to be the motivation of not having the money to travel that we can move into the electronic meeting world, the electronic training world. We have to get there. We have to get off the roads. We save ourselves time, our personal time and money, not having to go 30 miles to a meeting. If there's Oxaw course that you want to take, and the only place it's being given is in Irvine, you can now do it because they can do a go-to-meeting of an Oxaw class, and you can get your credit without traveling. So we're moving into that very fast. We have had help from D11 North. They let us use their go-to-meeting license for 6 months. It's up and running. People are using it. And their schedule is so crowded at D11 North that we couldn't find enough slots. So we have our own license now. We're going to be rolling it out this month. The division commanders, flotilla commanders, you will have access to the go-to-meeting license to go up there and schedule the meetings on your own. There won't be anybody clearing it for you. You just look at the calendar, and if you can get a meeting in, take that hour, take the 2 hours, and you register your class. So that'll be coming out to you. You know, the past 4 or 5 years, there have been a lot of changes. During Commodore Johnson, 4 years ago or so, the big thing was reorganization. He's the one that led the way towards condensing from 14 divisions down to 9. You would have had to give the kitten speech 14 times. You would have, right? Not anymore. And that's because of Commodore Johnson. It was very difficult, and he did a great job. He's also the one under which he gave the blessing for the university, the first university detachment, so I thank him for that. Commodore Jacobs did an outstanding job. He went through a hard time because during his watch, the final AUX Manual G finally came out. Remember, it was going to come out for years and years. Well, he had to implement it, and he did a great job teaching us all how to comply with all the uniform changes we went through, so he had a difficult time. He also was the one that did away with the material store. We had a physical store, for those of you that don't know, down in Anaheim. We had a store, we rented an office in the building, and it was losing money. Now we're making money each month because every time you all order from the AUX Center, the district gets a commission. Believe it or not, a little small commission, but we'll get a couple thousand a month now in the black from having gotten rid of the material center. During this couple of years, what I want it to be, among a number of other things, but primarily to move into what I'm calling e-diversity. You know, whether it's meetings that we do electronically, we're going to do them all that way as much as we can. But we also increase our diversity outreach when we can have new members or strangers, somebody at your house can sit there and watch a flotilla meeting or watch some training. It's a good opportunity for all of you to say, hey, to your son or daughter, come here and take a look. This is what really goes on. I'm going to have my son and daughter do that. Both of them have nothing to do with the auxiliary, but I'm going to let them see what's going on. And I hope by the end of the couple of years that we'll all take it as a normal thing to do electronic meetings, and we'll save a lot of money that way. Another thing that I want to talk about is PWCs. This is a good area for it. You do all the lakes, you do all the inland stuff. I'm becoming a big PWC booster. I got rid of the big boat, and that was sitting there just eating money up and not doing much but going around Santa Monica Bay. You know, how many boats do you need to do that? So I got rid of that, got a PWC in a little truck, and I got a PWO call up at Lake Pyramid with the Pelosi's. I've also had to lose some weight because of that, because what they taught, I've lost about 20 pounds in the past 4 months. Why? Because unlike boat crew and coxswain, where they teach you to stay in your boat, you know, they don't want you out of your boat. Well, now I've been taught you get off your boat. You have a wetsuit, you have a life jacket, it gets kind of heavy. You got to jump in the water, flip your boat over. Could you imagine? And as a coxswain, you're being taught to flip your vessel and then turn it back on, over again, climb onto it, and then pull somebody out of the water. So you have to be in pretty good shape. But we're going to boost that program. Don Norby is an ADSO for PWCs. We've never had one before. He's taken the initiative. I asked him to come up with a PWC patrol guide for tandem patrols, where PWCs go out with the mothership, and they can go out in the ocean with the mothership, or one PWC can be on a lake with another boat, because PWC can't be alone. He's gone out to the country, to all the DSOPs in the country, and asked for what do they do with their PWCs? What's your PWC plan? And he's accumulating all that, best practices, and we're going to come out with one guide, send it back out to those other DSOs. So nationally, we raised the level of PWCs. It saves us money. We just have trailering. I'm going to 4, 5, 6 different lakes this summer. I'll be up at Morro Bay with the jet ski called Sunshine. That was named at D-Train. So look for that. You know, I love this room. How many times have I been here, Jamie? 5 times? It's like a little auditorium. I like it. It's really cool. You know, the root of the to hear, and tar, like tars the bull. So literally it means a place to hear the bull. But we're not going to hear bull today. We're going to hear some facts about Division 11. You guys have done some terrific things altogether. Let me just run through some quick numbers for you. You probably already know them. District-wide,